Okay, so picture this. You're out there in the infected zone. Roamers closing from your left, something massive coming from your right. And somewhere in that crowd, there's a skunk making everything around it glow. And way in the back, just standing there, something is watching you. You've been here before. You know the drill. Headshot the roamers, find the skunk, keep moving, don't stop. But I want you to think about something for a second. Everything coming at you used to be a person. Not a creature that was born this way. Not something manufactured. A person with a name. With people who knew them, who probably had no idea any of this was coming when they woke up the morning of October 29th, 2033. Leon Dorsey has a name for what they are now. And it's not zombies. He actually gets kind of annoyed when people call them that. The official scientific classification he uses is Homo Mortis, dead human, 2 words. And honestly, those 2 words bother me more than anything else in this game's lore, because they strip away the horror movie distance. They make you think about what actually happened, what the sludge actually does when it gets into someone. So that's what today is about, not just what these things are or how to kill them, but what happened to the people they used to be. Because when you understand that, when you actually understand what the sludge god built out of the people it took, this game gets a lot darker. Let's get into it. So when the sludge erupted from the drill site on October 29th, it didn't behave like any contamination anyone had seen before. It didn't burn people, it didn't poison them in a way that just killed them. People who got exposed to it didn't just die, they changed, and the change isn't instant. That's what gets me about it. It works its way through the body, through the skin, through the blood, through the nervous system, and it starts overriding things, piece by piece. The person's consciousness starts going, their individual will, their memories, everything that made them specifically them rather than just a body that can walk and grab and bite. All of it replaced by something connected to the sludge god. And the worst part, the detail that I genuinely cannot stop thinking about, is that the body keeps going. The muscles still work, the legs still carry whatever is left forward, the eyes still see, the hands still grab. The person is just gone from inside it. You ever watch something and think, is anyone still in there? That's kind of the horror the game never directly answers, whether the person is fully gone, or whether somewhere deep inside there's still something aware of what their body is doing. I don't know which answer is worse, honestly. Now here's the thing about the Homo Mortis that the game kinda just throws at you without explaining how genuinely disturbing it is. The sludge god doesn't just make one kind of infected, it makes 8 completely different types. Each one specialized, each one designed to do a specific job. And when you look at all of them together, when you actually sit down and think about what role each one plays, it stops looking like random mutation and starts looking like something built the military out of people. So let's go through all of them. The roamers, these are your basic infantry, the most common thing you'll see out there, and honestly, the most recognizable as what they used to be, ordinary people. Workers, civilians, anyone the sludge got to who didn't have anything the corruption could exploit for a more specialized role, so it made the simplest thing it could. A unit that rushes forward and doesn't stop. One headshot kills a roamer. They're genuinely fragile individually. But that's kind of the point, because you're never dealing with one roamer. You're dealing with 100 of them coming from 3 different directions at the same time while you're trying to reload and watch for something worse moving up behind them. They're not meant to kill you themselves. They're meant to make you killable. And honestly, the roamer is the one that bothers me most from a lore perspective, just because of how recognizable they still are. They still look like people, they still move like people, just people with the lights turned off inside the skunks. Okay, so skunks are interesting because there's a story behind what they are if you think about it. Those hazmat suits they're wearing, those weren't part of some mutation that grew armor onto them. Those were suits the person was already wearing when they got infected. Almost certainly the private containment workers Leon sent into the infected zone during the cover-up. People who thought the protective gear would keep them safe, it didn't. The sludge got in anyway, and when it transformed the person inside this suit, it incorporated the suit into the mutation. The thing that was supposed to protect them from the infection became part of the infection. Which is honestly such a perfectly horrible detail for this game. They move faster than roamers, they have more health. But the really nasty thing about skunks is what they do to everything around them. When a skunk is operating near a group of regular zombies, they all start glowing with a lightning aura. They get tougher, they hit harder. The whole horde around a skunk becomes significantly more dangerous. A support unit, literally designed to make every other unit nearby more effective. That's not something a mindless infection does by accident. That's something that looked at a human body in a hazmat suit and thought, I know exactly what to do with this. The nukers, I'm just going to be straightforward about this one. The nuker is genuinely upsetting when you think about what the Sludge God actually did to create it. It took a person and it restructured their biology from the inside out, took whatever was in there and turned it into a volatile explosive payload, built a walking bomb out of what used to be a human being. The glowing red pustules on the torso are the physical result of whatever that process looks like, and that scream, that horrible sound they make as they charge, is your warning that one is coming and you need to deal with it right now from as far away as possible. Because if a nuker reaches you and goes off at close range, you're dead. Instantly. No second chances. The fire nuker is the same thing, but with a blast radius large enough to potentially take out your entire squad if you're not paying attention. When one of those shows up, honestly, everything else stops mattering until it's handled. I don't know what kind of person they were before. Probably just someone who was in the wrong place, and now they're a walking bomb that screams the stalkers. Here's the one that tells you the most about how the Sludge God actually thinks. Every other Homo Mortis charges, gets in close overwhelms through physical contact and proximity. That seems to be the default behavior. Rush forward, make contact, consumed. The stalker does the opposite. It hangs back, finds a spot at the edge of the engagement area, somewhere elevated if possible, and just starts shooting. Laser beams, rockets. Consistent ranged harassment from a position where you're too busy dealing with everything in front of you to go looking for it. And a weak point. That big glowing red eye is positioned so you actually have to stop what you're doing. Look away from the chaos in front of you, find it, aim carefully, and hit a specific target while everything else is still trying to kill you. The Sludge God built something that specifically exploits the fact that people under pressure stop watching their perimeter. It knows how humans fight. It knows where your attention goes when you're scared and surrounded, and it designed a unit to take advantage of exactly that moment. That's not random. That's something that has thought about this. The snares. So the snare is the one that visually looks the most different from a regular person, because the mutation has partially merged the host with the corrupted plant life growing throughout the infected zone. Those vines aren't decoration, they're functional, they're weapons. What a snare does is grab you, not hit you, not push you. It grabs you and roots you to the ground. You can't move, you can't reposition, you can only fire at whatever happens to be directly in front of you, while everything else flows around you from every angle. Get grabbed by a snare in the middle of a roamer wave with a nuker screaming somewhere nearby, and honestly just good luck. That's a very specific kind of terrible that the game clearly designed on purpose. It's a crowd control unit built to break squads apart. To isolate individual players, hold them in place while the rest of the horde does the work. What I find interesting about the snare specifically is that the mutation didn't come entirely from within the human host. The environment contributed to it. The corrupted plant life around the infected zone became part of what this person turned into. Like the Sludge God looked at what was available person plus corrupted environment and combined them into something more useful than either would have been separately. The goons are big, fast in a way that catches you completely off guard the first time you see one charge, and when one reaches you, it doesn't just hit you, it lunges, pins you to the ground, and keeps hitting while you're down there, trying to get up. High health, the serious damage. That deceptive speed. The first time a goon charges you from across a room, you will genuinely be surprised at how fast it covered that distance. It shouldn't be able to move like that for something that size, and somehow it absolutely does. There's a red glowing weak point on the head once you strip the initial armor. Find it and focus there, because trying to chip a goon down with body shots while it's closing the gap is a great way to die. Get one without immediate squad support and you're in trouble. Get two at the same time and you're probably already repositioning or already dead. The slob. Okay, the slob is the one I think about most when I think about what the Sludge God was going for with the Homo Mortis, because it's such a specific kind of horrible. It's huge. Those long weird arms hanging at its sides. And it walks toward you slowly, not charging, not sprinting, just walking, and that's somehow more unsettling than if it was running, because the slow walk means it knows it doesn't need to hurry. It has the most health of anything on the field. More than the goon, more than anything else you'll encounter, you will dump an entire magazine into a slob and it will keep walking. You will have your whole squad focusing fire on it, and it will still take real time and real effort to bring down. And while you're burning through everything you have trying to kill it, its throwing area of effects, sludge bombs, explosions that force you out of cover, force you to move, to force you into everything else that's still out there, while you're focused on the slob. It's not really trying to kill you through its own damage, it's trying to drain you. Use up your resources, your ammunition. Your abilities, your positioning, leave you with nothing left for whatever comes after. The slob is patient in a way that doesn't make sense for something that used to be a person. Whatever the sludge did to whoever this was, it made something that thinks about outlasting rather than overpowering. Look at all 8 of them together and think about what you're actually seeing out there. Standard infantry that overwhelms through numbers, support units that amplify the horde, walking bombs, long-range harassers, crowd control that immobilizes and isolates, the fast, heavy bruisers that collapse positions, unstoppable tanks that drain resources, every tactical role covered. And the thing that gets me, the thing I keep coming back to, is that the Sludge God's army doesn't have a supply problem. Every person who falls in the infected zone is potential material for more Homo Mortis. Every soldier who goes down defending the wall, every commando who gets overwhelmed on a mission. The people fighting the Sludge God are also the raw material for its army. It gets stronger from the casualties of the people trying to stop it. So next time you're out there surrounded, something grabbing you from behind, a nuker screaming somewhere you can't see, just remember what you're actually looking at. Not monsters that were born this way. The people that the Sludge God decided it had a better use for. People who might still be in there somewhere, aware, watching through eyes they can't control anymore. Or maybe completely gone, just bodies carrying out instructions from something ancient that doesn't even register them as individuals. Honestly, I don't know which one I hope is true. That's the Homo Mortis. That's what the sludge actually does to people. Next video, the cultists, who they were, what they knew, how they knew it, and where they are now that the thing they spent generations protecting the world from is actually awake. Subscribe so you don't miss it, and drop a comment which one gives you the most trouble out there. Because personally getting snared while a nuker is incoming is the most specifically evil thing this game does. Tell me yours.